spawning in the bottom left in this best of 7. The second best of 7, Vanguard versus Infernal. The bottom left, his name, the up-and-coming, the second best, or the best active Vanguard player on ladder right now. It's Refresh. And probably the most terrifying Celestial player in the world right now, certainly in these early game timings. His name is Bly. And Bly, make no mistake about it, Bly is terrifying. Bly is so good at abusing these early game timings, at just being as crisp as possible. And certainly right now, Celestial is significantly better than Vanguard, but I have been told, I have been promised, and the reason I'm putting this on instead of just doing a bunch of Infernal versus Vanguard show matches, part of it, I just like to see more than Infernal Vanguard. But part of it also is that I have been assured by Parting that Refresh is good enough, that Refresh has figured some things out, that he will be able to show us a good series. Now, this is just a dick move. Bly running his first Prism onto the other side of the map to get some scouting, but just to steal a little bit of money. And by the way, talking about balance changes, I very much believe that Prisms should not be allowed. Prisms should not be allowed to mine without returning home. Is really just the long and short of it. Jeez, this is a very aggressive collection array. Prisms should, if you want to mine without a collection array, the Prism should have to recycle back to the Arc ship. It should not be allowed to just go and kind of sit there and just mine for free. I think it really should have to go back to an Arc ship. I think that is maybe not the most glaring balance issue, but I think that is, I think that is important. So for now, we have, what is this? 4 collection arrays from Bly. He's just building this line of mining onto the other side of the map. He's got one creation chamber, adding in a second one now. So he's got a lot of money. He's going to slowly take down the speed camp. And again, once you have access to that, having a little bit of a speed buff is very, very nice. Now the question is, the very important question is, what is the solution from Refresh? And the answer is Exos. Very quick Exos, although he is supply blocked. He's very supply blocked. There's a habitat on the way, but no, that's a sentry post on the way. He's very supply blocked here. This is a problem. Like, yes, the flak turret is very, very good. The flak turret is extremely good. We got 2 Exo or 1 Exo in production and no habitat on the way until right now. So again, this is a problem. So we'll see exactly how this thing's going to work out. Again, so when we talk about Argents are not good units. You can just get a lot of them very, very quickly. So we're looking at 1, 2, 2. Only 2 creation chambers. So this is not quite... I feel like often we see the 3 creation chamber push, and that is very strong. This is only... It's still a lot of pressure, don't get me wrong. But it's not quite as committed as... again, we're going to see how powerful this flak turret is. There's going to be a second sentry post here. And again, when we take a look at this, yes, there's going to be a blast or a strike node, excuse me. Against Vanguard, you kind of want strike nodes more than blast nodes because, well, the units aren't quite as squishy. But anyways, yes, there is a blast. There is a strike node on the way, but it's not going to quite be in range. And these double flak turrets, yeah, an Exo went down, and it's not great. But what we're going to see here from Refresh is he's going to say, okay, I'm under a lot of pressure right now. Great. Okay, sure. Now I'm going to go and I'm just going to slow push these turrets, these flak turrets. And I have a couple. I love this, by the way. He's built a couple extra scouts. And what this means, not only, well, God, the flak turret goes down so fast. Was going to say is not only was like, okay, well, maybe this is a little bit of extra damage, but more importantly, it's vision. It means he can howl and, make sure he has as much vision as the flak turrets have vision. And that's actually pretty important. So for now, we're on 3 racks, 3 turret. In fact, 2 turret, 1 sensor array. That's a pretty big deal. So yes, there is this morph core on the high ground providing some free vision, but as we see these Exos, they're going to dive in. But again, single scout just buying time, and the Bobs are going to get pulled back once again. No upgrades, by the way. On the way out of this, we don't have any. There's no quick draw hustle here. This is just Refresh spending every bit of money on making sure he stays alive as much as possible. Now, when we take a look at this setup from Bly, he's on 4 bases. He doesn't have a ton of prisms anywhere. He's really on like a 3. I'm not actually sure how the math goes. It's like, I want to say it's like, it effectively is like 2 bases. So the economy is relatively equivalent. As now we're going to see these turrets. Oh, okay, one's going to go down. But again, there are still 2 more where that came from. That splash damage is very, very strong. And more importantly, the range. Yeah, buzzsaw turrets would technically do better. They got more. They have more armor. They do, like, they probably splash more. They do bonus damage to heavy. But the 12 range is super important. As Bly going to the next round of aggression, he's got his Guardian Nexus certainly done. Photo Restoration is going to be the thing. So making sure that these Argents have 50 energy instead of 30 is pretty important. But behind this is where life gets even more complicated. Not only do we have an Arc Station, man, an Arc Fortress to push these down would be kind of cool. But more importantly, we're going to have Sabers on the map. Sonic, unfortunately, the bracket is not correct. No Liquipedia. I announced this too late, so we didn't get a Liquipedia page made. But this is our second best of 7. First one was Yoru winning 4-3 over Refresh, and now it is Refresh versus Bly, and it's a pretty cool series. So nice attempt there to go and try to dodge things, and we see, of course, Blast Node, Strike Node is pain. Now the important question is, we take a look where Refresh is right now. He's spending all of his money on these turrets, on these repair turrets, on making sure that he's okay. Can he ever get up enough money to go take this third base? Because again, Bly is all set up. He's attacking through this angle. And as he's attacking through this angle, there is maybe a bit of room to go and try to make something else happen. But for now, okay, there's an Atlas on the map. Atlas, do you have range? Yes, you do. Very nice job. They're getting a lot of damage done on top of the Saber. Now, the Saber does have the ability to go regenerate its HP between the Arc Station and, well, its own passive ability or its own active ability as well. So it can go and it's going to get some HP back. But again, as we look at this development, we got Starforged Sabers, certainly, but okay, Split's going to go down. Certainly, yeah, there's going to be Scam, but now we got Beryllium Claws. Okay, this is kind of cool. So this is the slow. Oh, sure. I think he's going to go for Gear Grind eventually, right? Because there's no light units in this army. Everything is heavy. Argents are heavy, Sabers are heavy, so that doesn't really do all that much. For now, Scan's going to go down. We're going to see the Atlas drop, or the Atlas drop attempt to play is going to show up here. And this turret's staying alive. The Atlas shots are doing damage. And Refresh is doing a very nice job of staying alive. I'm very curious. So what do we have in the high ground? No high command on the way just yet. He does have tier 3 for that. So evacs out, of course, we do have the Atlas being able to get some damage done. And again, my question as we take a look at this is whether we're going to see what the point of Beryllium Claws is. Because again, there are no light units. So that doesn't really do all that much for you. But certainly these Atlas do, what is it, 100? How much damage versus structure? Yeah, 120 damage versus structure. So these link nodes, these blast nodes do go down quite quickly. Although 4 Sabers show up and they just blow the Atlas sky high. Refresh was not able to save it. And again, behind this is still only Bly on functionally 2-base mining. Yes, the supply is there, but again, a lot of these units are Argents that are not very good as the game goes later. Blows this sky high. But his economy's not growing all that much. There are some random prisms on the map, but he's not really getting more collection arrays. And I would expect, okay, scouts. I guess this is just a creeping attempt. I like scouts for vision. I think that is a very cool idea. It's where's the evac? Where's the evac? It's not. You have to have the evac on top of this to keep yourself alive. Without that is just it's a dicey proposition. So we don't have an Atlas on the way. It's not here just yet. Bob's going to have to get pulled into this, and I think losing those 2 Atlas is just way too much of a problem to solve. I think at this point, Refresh. I mean, the turrets are doing good work. The turrets are doing great work, but there's way too much anti-heavy. The Atlas on the high ground's not really here, and yeah, there's nothing to save. So I think finally Refresh is dead. If he had the evac to keep the Atlas alive, I think he would have been fine. He overestimated the power of the high ground for that second Atlas, and that just meant that he will fall down. I mean, the ideas were pretty cool. He had a nice defense early. Almost made it happen. But Bly too strong, and that means game 1 goes to Bly. So game 1, it looked very promising for Refresh. The early aggression really didn't get a lot done. The turrets were up there. A couple turrets went down, but that was fine. The layers of turrets were there. and the Atlas count was almost to the point where the Argents would have just exploded. But unfortunately, Bly, he was able to just one-tap Atlases twice because really the evac was not where it needed to be. It was, I don't understand why Refresh put the evac away from the Atlases. I guess he was thinking about going for some level of harass, but he wasn't really doing anything, so it was a little bit weird. Maybe just the wrong hotkey, I don't know. As it stands, Atlas was not there, or evac was not there to save the Atlas. 2 Atlases died. They were very expensive units, and without that, well, life just went bad. Now, as we get into game number 2, Refresh is going to find himself very happy with how the spawns have gone, because this is cross spawn. I love Bly. He uses his first prism not as a mining structure. He does sacrifice a little bit of mining early, but prisms, because they accelerate so quickly once they start going. You know, it takes a while to start going, but eventually they move very, very fast. He uses that as the scout. Runs around the entire map, and he's like, oh, I know where my opponent is. Okay, that's fine. There's a Luminite mine nearby. I can start mining from it. It's not quite as good as mining from a collection. Actually, I think it might just be the same. I think you should mine probably more from a collection array with a prism than just a prism on its lonesome, but you know, as it stands, you can mine a little bit, dance around a little bit, have a little fun, go from there. Now, when we look at Bly's setup, Bly's going to, again, take quick 4 collection array, but he doesn't quite have the aggressive options in this game number 2 as he did in game number 1, because this is cross spawn. There's no vertical spawn here where you can kind of start high and go low and take this collection array and start to creep your structures forward this way. You can't do it from left to right, right to left. This is really the optimal solution, the optimal situation for Refresh to spawn into. And again, I'm not going to say he's going to win, but this is the optimal. So this really is the optimal situation for Refresh to find his way into, as we take a look at this game number 2. Zuki Radio saying, I think I'd rather have Atlas buff and Saber buffs rather than have, or Atlas and Hellborn buffs rather than having Sabers nerfed. Valid. I tend to be a, for the most part, you know, you can go too far, but I tend to be a big fan of, you know, everything Zimba, so nothing Zimba type of setups. I like how Dota does it, where it's like, yeah, you know, everything's gonna be broken, so nothing is. Everything being broken kind of balances everything else out, and that's great. Meanwhile, by the way, we take a look at our Arc ship here. Not an Arc station just yet, but I think the Prism stole the health tower. Not totally sure that right there, but this is, of course, a hog opening. This is a hedgehog opening coming out of Refresh, which you talk to a lot of Vanguard players, and they're going to say hedgehogs are the only way we can play against Celestials. Maybe, we'll see. Yeah, Luke, you're saying, let's slow down the Atlas shot too fast compared to Sabers. There was a build where Atlas shots were legit too fast for how much damage they did, and compared to like the time to kill from everything else. Because like kind of the goal is Atlases are supposed to be, yeah, they do damage, but they're also supposed to be kind of zoning units. And really, you should have, if you have really good micro, you should be able to dodge the shots. But it was just impossibly fast. It was just way too fast. For how much damage they were doing and how quickly they were attacking. This was then they nerfed it back down. I think you could probably go between those two values, but again, when we talk about buffs and nerfs and balance changes, I really want us to go kind of out there a little bit. I want to see more I want to see more exciting stuff, like add functionality, make things a little bit weird, because again, we're in early access. Now is the time to really mess around with things. The prisms always remind me of Interstellar. I don't know why, but I find them. Yeah, the prisms look great. There's we talk about the prisms. Let me see if I can find a Bly's. Is it back home? I don't know where it is. This prism is somewhere. But anyway, if you go, the blue prisms look okay, but the teal prisms, like if you're playing 2v2, the teal prisms look so good. Where is Bly's prism? Did it die? Oh, there it is. There it is. So this looks good. This looks pretty good. But the teal version of these, oh man, it's so good. 10 out of 10. How about Atlas bouncing shot, like a bouncing Betty from the World War II bombing run, the World War II bomber, where you skip across the water? That'd be cool, you know? Give it a little bit more range. Right now, the Argents are going to try to attack into this, and Hedgehogs, well, they're just going to have to run away, kite away. They do bonus damage versus heavy, and there is a repair turret, so we'll see just how well this is going to work out. Refresh, again, no energy. He's been spending all the energy on promotion, which means there's no overcharge available, but continues to kite away. And again, mass repair plus the repair turret means these hogs are not dying all that quickly. Certainly some bobs have fallen, but now a lot of the attack power of these Argents is dead. Again, yes, they do have photo capacitors. They do have there we go, photo capacitors, not photo restoration, but even still, they run out of energy eventually, and once they run out of energy, they don't do a lot of damage at all. Where does this group of our 30 Argents keep coming from? Sleepy Bones asks. Well, the Argents come from these surged creation chambers that just produce so quickly. Although I don't think they're surged right now. So even as it stands, more Argents are going to show up fighting into these Hedgehogs. What are we at? Are we at one? I'm not actually sure. We're at, I think, one mech bay. We have 2 Hedgehog production. Third one now on the way, but the Argents just, again, trying to put these Hedgehogs into a corner. Hedgehogs ideally are skirmishing in the middle of the map and getting this damage done. As it stands, though, that's not really happening, and a lot of these bobs have fallen down. Now, there's going to be a Purify going down as well, which means a little bit more power, a little bit more energy on these Argents, which means, again, more damage and more ability to poke. But Refresh does have its third base, and, you know, the bob count's not horrible. It's 9 out of 12. He's lost a couple, but he's rebuilding them relatively nicely. And again, these high-tier Hedgehogs, going back to repair, they do a lot of damage. You know, a tier 3 Hedgehog does, what is that, 18 damage to these Argents. That means, I mean, they 10-shot them, so it's still not great. But you fire 4-shot volleys, so that's 4 right there. It works out fairly well. And yes, sometimes the bobs go down, but again, you're rebuilding them every 17 seconds. You build the bobs fairly quickly, and Refresh does have his third base. So again, the setup is we see the Argents running across. Do we have a Starforge? We do have a Legion Hall, so it's gonna be Animancers, I think, are gonna be the play. Probably. I like, by the way, Bly taking advantage of the line of sight blockers here, just playing in the trees, making it rather hard for Refresh to play against. But Refresh now, there are Atlases on the way. We're on to that next level of tech. Do we have a hangar bay? Not yet. It's just Atlases, nothing else. This one Atlas sieged up is a very powerful defensive force, and more importantly, it gives Refresh an opportunity to play on the map. The Atlas shot should be able to roll through enemies like a bowling ball. Every time it makes contact, it bounces again. I mean, you know what? It fires the great big ball of plasma. Instead of being splashed, like splash damage on the ground, it would, I guess it kind of would make sense for the just kind of bounce around units, kind of like a, if you're a Dota 2 fan, like a Lich Chain Frost type idea. That'd be kind of cool. And I kind of factor into this bouncing ball of plasma, maybe. Yeah, I kind of like that idea. I don't know if they're going to go for it. It might be too strong. I don't know. But it's kind of cool. And much better than, aha, tank unit do splash. Now, I guess the question is, why does the unit not do the bouncing shot when it's unsieged? You know, that might be the thing. But look at this Animancer. Oh, big shot goes forward with the cloak. You know, even still, though, it's only going to get one Hedgehog. It's going to be fine for the most part as we see the Unseen Veil move forward. But now, again, Refresh is on 3 bases. He has his Atlases. He's building... I know, actually, I guess he's just got 1 defensive Atlas. Yeah, 1 defensive Atlas, building himself into more mech bays now, as we will see, of course. High command on the way. 4th base going to get started here. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, guys, gals, non-binary pals, we have a macro game. Refresh has survived the upgrades. Mixu asking, is Bly getting the Argent upgrades? He does have photo capacitors. He does have the long shot module. So long and short answer is yes, he is. Or he does. Where is, by the way, what I'm looking for? There's an Arc ship. That's not the Arc station that we know Bly has. Where is our Arc fortress? There is the Arc Fortress on the left side, not doing a lot, but, you know, going to kill a base is a very powerful idea. Fate Ender Beam does 1,500 damage, which means that technically, if any sort of repair keeps the command post alive, so it's not quite as strong against Vanguard as it is against Infernals, where you show up and if you don't kill the Arc Fortress, your base is dead. But for now, we got MedTech Hedgehog. We got Nano Swarm. These units are a lot tankier than they otherwise were. But fighting around Vision is still a little bit dicey. Unseen Veil gets popped, and there's a scan as well. But even still, there is, yeah, this is aware. Refresh is aware of this. Now, certainly you don't want to lose the MedTechs. They do lag around. They're not as fast. But you got one of them here, and I mean, again, the MedTechs going down is a bit of a problem. But here comes the Argents moving forward, trying to distract as there's this Fate Ender Beam. We're going to see it show up on the left side. And again, so there's going to be a sentry post going up. This Fate Ender Beam should not kill, is the long and short of it, right? Because you can repair. The question is, what is this Arc Fortress doing? There we go. There's the Fate Ender Beam, but there should just be a mass repair. And again, it's not going to kill. There's the long and short of it. And in fact, now Hedgehogs are going to try to show up on top of this. There's a repair beam as well. Hedgehog's not going into anti-air mode, unfortunately, but now it is, but it's out of vision, so that's fine. But yeah, again, this is, you do not kill with Fate Ender Beam. It's a cool ability. I love the sound of it, but it doesn't really, if your opponent's on point, which Refresh is, you don't kill with it. So for now, we're going to see a great big Unseen Veil go down once. I'm assuming there's Dark Prophecy available as well. But Scouts getting added into the late game to deal with these Animancers is kind of cool. Dogs and Hogs and MedTechs. The story of this game is, by the way, nothing is cut through this. So we're going to see, of course, the Ethereum camp get taken down. Do we have a Morph Core? Not all. That would be kind of cool, right? Go. Okay, never mind. You can Dark Prophecy right through it. So here comes the attack, and the army of Refresh is out of position. Fate Ender Beam plus this army. Well, that's going to be a bit bigger of a problem. Repair does not repair through this. This army will fall down. But now take a look at this. A couple Hedgehogs off the left side, more on the right. Yeah, sure, Dark Prophecy is going to show up, but again, all the power, all the energy of this army is now not really there. So if you can get a big fight, if you can make this happen, maybe bring your Atlas over. Maybe bring the Helicarriers on over. Maybe that's going to work out for you. So for right now, Dark Prophecy is so good, though. You've got to target this down. We do have Nanoswarm, but it gets purified off. Okay, so Nanoswarm gets purified off. Hedgehogs on the left side not doing a lot. Atlas with the lingering plasma. Okay, it gets a little bit damage done here. Bombing run doesn't get anything whatsoever. But this big surround is a bit of a problem. Again, the Dark Prophecy clutching off angles. But we are seeing, again, these Animancers, they're getting taken down. They're getting targeted down. This army is a lot smaller than it was just a little bit ago. So Bly has killed a base, absolutely. Meanwhile, Refresh on the north side, I don't know, I think he got an Arc ship right there. He's shut down some of the economy, and he's going to wipe out every single Argent, and more importantly, every single Animancer that exists on the map for Bly right now. Takes them all down. Yes, he did lose that fourth base. And, you know, there should be a Fate Ender Beam available for this Arc Fortress once again. And again, you don't, before the base is up, you don't repair it. You have to have the base up, and now we're going to see a bunch of power banks going down as well. This is a dicey situation, and where is the army? In the middle of the map. This does not seem to be something that Refresh is aware of, but his Hedgehogs are doing great. His Hedgehogs on the north side are doing a really fantastic job of shutting down this extra economy that Bly would love to have. Now, he does have a lot of scythes on the map. Problem is, though, as, again, mass repair doesn't really... It's fine. Like, mass repair just keeps this alive against the Fate Ender Beam. You do have to add more damage. So we're going to see the scythes show up, and the Hedgehogs not where they need to be. Fate Ender Beam is... Well, it's going to go down once again. We're going to see these very expensive Atlases do what they can, and the base will fall. Again, a little bit of extra damage on the top. Make sure that this goes down. But as we take a look at this, Hedgehogs, well, they have Transonic rockets, and they should be able to shut this down. Moving to anti-air mode. Sides, of course, they do have that wonderful upgrade that means they don't take, or that wonderful power that doesn't means they don't take a ton of damage, but they should get forced out here. Now, if you can pin this army into a corner, that really is the play. We see the Howl go down, but not quite the range. Trying to get this army, force this army out of here, because the reason that this worked was because of the Arc Fortress. And the Arc Fortress right now, just not falling down. I think we want to see Hornets on the map. I think we want to see Hornets on the map. I am not totally sure. like Hedgehog died on the north side, but again, Refresh is going to get his 4th base up once again. For how long, though? I don't know, because Scythes are going to show up now. And now there's a single Hedgehog here, but not enough. And Refresh kind of pinned back at home at this point. This base should die for another time. Hedgehogs are going to go and do their thing and try to get the damage done. But again, Scythe, the amount of damage that Scythes take when their shield is popped is just about nothing. But if you can go and howl this up, get damage done in the Arc Fortress, that is a lot better. So Arc Fortress takes half its HP or so, a third of its HP. Meanwhile, Hedgehog's on the right side, getting a little bit more done here. And it does beg the question because, again, Refresh is kind of pinned on these 4 bases. We're not really seeing, we got a 5th base from Blind, but not much more than that. Again, these Hedgehog these Hedgehog run-bys, these Hedgehog harassment plays to kill off all these prisms is a big deal, actually. So the question asked is where is Refresh going here? Is it just Hedgehogs? Is this Hedgehog mono battle? I know he did have 1 helicarrier. Is he building more? I don't really see that. No Graven, of course. I'm not really going to see that one because, again, the problem right now is Bly's in the sky, and Graven aren't really great. The big power, right, of Graven is that sticky bomb, and they're not really great against things. I think probably getting a lot of Hornets would be good. Would be my assumption. These Hedgehogs killing so many prisms in this game. I mean, there some of them are still here, but Hedgehog's doing a very nice job of keeping the economy of Bly relatively safe, relatively in a reasonable spot. As we see, again, these transonic rockets go down, but so many rockets fire. And Scythes are light units, right? They don't really take a ton of damage. I think, more importantly, getting some nanoswarms on the Scythes probably is the play. I'm not really sure, but for now, Fate's End on a Repair-O-Matic. Okay. Now, okay, Hornets are getting added in, and Hornets have that upgrade as well, so they can drop Sky Mines. And that actually is a pretty big deal. By the way, Bly not really responding. He's going to lose this Arc Fortress, and the size on the other side. I said Graven's maybe not great because, again, there's no sticky bomb, but they do 25 damage to light. So, you know, maybe. And the Arc Fortress is dead. So Bly at this point has lost that powerful pushing position. He does have link nodes that are going to try to turn into blast nodes, into strike nodes, but there's no high ground vision. So that doesn't really do much of anything. This Hedgehog on the right side getting a little bit more damage done, again, curtailing that economy. And the Scythe numbers are not as strong as they were, as they should. Well, I mean, there's still a lot of sides, but they're not untouchable at this point. Again, this Graven Hedgehog idea is very, very strong. Now, what I would love to see is these Hedgehogs, and I guess there's just not a lot of time for it at the moment. I would love, yeah, there we go. Hedgehogs need to go on siege. I'm still like, they should kill this. The scan was very nice, and that Hedgehog will fall down, but what is giving vision? Oh, yeah, okay, sides. Sides on the high ground are going to get vision here, but Graven are now going to blink on top, and again, sticky bombs would be the beautiful thing, but sticky bombs don't really matter to air, and this is the Graven, or excuse me, this is just legions of scythes looking to cut things down, but again, with the repair turret and the Hornets and the sides and everything else, these scythes are good, but they're not great, and they are getting taken down ever so slowly. The Hedgehog army needs to show up, and it's not really there right now. The Graven, they're going to be able to cloak down in a second, targeting these things down. They're very expensive. You cannot lose them on their own, and they got to get out of combat for just a second. More Hornets getting added in, but they're not getting out of combat. They're not cloaking up. So this is so many Graven going down. This is insanely expensive. And the sides, they just don't really seem to be a great, there doesn't really seem to be a great solution to the sides at the moment. I mean, bombing run on the north side is going to be solid. It's going to kill a lot. My goodness, it's going to kill a lot. But you need a solution to these sides. And there are so many of them. Like, there are so many sides, even as, again, this single Hedgehog has more kills than I would like to talk about. A refresh, knocked down to 4 bases once again. Really no way to handle this. To defend this base on the left side, and man, the fact that size they have this shield doesn't really show. That means that you take, like, what is it, 80% less damage once when the shield is popped. It's just so good. It's way too good. That means that if you play right, it doesn't feel fun to play against. In the balance patch, I really hope they change that. Like, on the one hand, yeah, sure, the more damage you take, the more damage you do. That's kind of cool. Sure. But I think they really should tone down the shields or make it like, okay, you got a shield that's worth, 100 HP. And once it gets worn away, you're done. Like, instead of being percentage damage reduction, it really should be like the Immortal Barrier or hard or the bubble or something like that, which just it absorbs a fixed amount of damage. The sticky bomb, does it apply to? Oh, the Sky Mine slow. Okay, I was like, does this apply? But no, that's the Sky Mine slow. So Refresh is back on 3 bases, and this late game Scythe play is just like, what are you supposed to do against this? Your best effort is, I mean, okay, that's pretty good. But even pretty good, catching the sides, not responding is, you know, 3 or 4 sides. It's not a ton. So we're going to see Refresh go try to take the right side with a lot of bobs. Unfortunately, Argents are here. And the Argents are going to show up. It's like, okay, well, these bobs aren't going to do what they want to do. So now hemmed in on multiple sides is a problem. We're going to see these blast nodes have vision. The scan gives high ground vision, but they're going to get taken down. That's fine. But again, Sky Mine slow plus Nanoswarm is a pretty good solution. That seems to be doing fairly well. But again, Refresh is tapped out. Look at his money, or the lack thereof. He's not only mining on this base. He's not mining. There's no Luminite. There's no Therium anywhere else on the map. In fact, there's no Therium that he has access to whatsoever. 681 is all that he's going to have unless he can find another base. And again, it just doesn't feel very good for Refresh right now. He's just been hemmed in by all these sides, and I was looking briefly. I'm like, you know, he's building this army, but I just underestimated how powerful sides are. So Graven are going to show up. They're going to try to take this fight, but again, because of the map design, and really because of the fact these are flyer units, and because of how strong sides are, you cannot move on the map. You need all your army just to make sure this base stays alive, and that means that, well, for the most part, the Celestial player has the map. What if they took away autocast and didn't touch scythes other than that? I mean, these are great Atlas shot. Doesn't matter. What if they did that? That'd be kind of cool. So you'd have to manually turn it on. Yeah, that would discourage massing scythes in a pretty significant way. I still don't like just the bulk of damage mitigation. By the way, Refresh is dead in this game. Bly has just, he has the map, and beating this number of scythes and animancers and everything else is just not going to happen. But yeah, you're taking away autocast. Seems Floophead saying good players would just be able to do it. You know, there is enough stuff to do, right? You got to get your Dark Prophecies out and split and everything else. There are enough spells to cast that individually turning on the Scythe shield would be difficult. So I think we might just see players turn them all, like I say, okay, I'm gonna bulk turn on all the shields, and that's fine. But just take away power a little bit, because then you can cut away. There are things you can do, like Nanoswarm, for example, or get a Shroud or get a Wraith Stone, and if you're an Infernal, where you just trigger everything immediately. But again, the problem is these sides, for how much damage they do and how mobile they are, they're just way too tanky. You know, as we take a look at this, the entire army of Refresh has to be built around taking the sides down. And yeah, Refresh is going to tap out. Bly goes up 2-0 in this series, but the entire army is focused around taking the sides down. And that means that he doesn't have anything for the stuff on the ground. And it's just, you know. Let's see where we go. For now, though, Bly's up 2. So Bly has taken an early game. Bly has taken a late game. And as we take a look at this game number 3, Bly is blessed with vertical spawn. So we should see another game where Bly gets pretty dang aggressive in this early game, as he's going to be able to run across, take this collection array, of course, and then probably take this collection array and shove straight up the gullet into the Vanguard main base, into the Vanguard natural. And well, we're going to see just how Refresh is able to deal with it. So Refresh should know from the direction of the prism and the timing of the direction that, okay, well, the Celestial is south of me. That doesn't feel very great. Sword saying, Venom Mine upgrades is so expensive for such a meme ability, costing 100. Venom Mines can be good. I see some players talk about how when they use them, they feel pretty good. But yeah, it's really what it was. That was kind of a gate to Miasma when Miasma was really strong. Now Miasma has been nerfed into the ground, and it's not very good. So it makes a little bit less sense to kind of gate it behind that expense the way it previously did. For now, though, look at this. The Lancer's going to find himself a speed creep. That's pretty nice. And certainly before you have units, it's very hard for the for the Celestial player to go and take the camp. But as it stands, you got a morph core, so it's gonna be fine. And the pressure's just gonna get started. So we're looking at 3 collection arrays, not the 4 that we saw Bly go for in game number 1. Likely this means this is maybe a little bit more committed. You get maybe 1 more creation chamber and you just get a lot of stuff is the play. Meanwhile, of course, Refresh, he's got his Lancer, he has his Scout, and he's gonna go take the health camp. Surprisingly, the very far away health camp. And I think that's actually kind of surprised. I did not expect that, but for now, again, he's realized, as a lot of the really good Vanguard players have realized, that you can go and you can creep a full camp. You can get the full health camp with 1 Lancer, 1 Scout. Because, it's not quite as good as the single Scout creeping that we saw in the last patch before they buffed creep camps. But as it stands, you can still go and take, you can still do it like that, and you're going to be totally fine. So the question now is, what is happening what is Bly doing? He's got his double creation chamber, triple collection array. And unfortunately, this first Exo is gonna get found out. Remember, because of the opening, because of the setup, Refresh does not have a natural. Because of how quickly this is happening, there is no natural for Refresh. And that means that is a significant problem. Because again, game 1, excuse me, he held on with a natural. It was like, okay, maybe he can make this happen. But this game, not nearly as good. And now, well, we talked about where's the 4th collection chamber going to be. It's gonna be Refresh's natural. Bly is just leaning into his opponent so insanely hard. We don't have a sentry post on the way. I think Refresh is just dead. He got really unlucky with the spawn positioning, and he has lost everything. He does have power for an overcharge, and Bobs are gonna get pulled into this. Bobs actually, they do a lot of damage when they're overcharged, right? They do 12 damage a shot. Meanwhile, yes, it's 18 for the Exos, but Bobs are much cheaper. And now we're gonna have a prime creation chamber in the main base. Now I don't know if that's gonna work out all that well, because there is gonna be a flak turret going up pretty quickly. Actually, here's the question, right? So this does 22 damage. You do 18 as that. This does 22 damage. So the damage doesn't change, right? It's just the flak. The range increases a little bit. So that actually, I guess, makes a little bit of sense. As we're gonna see Sovereign's Watch go down. No repair, by the way, on this sentry post, so it's just going to die. Get some good damage, I guess. But 2 Exos versus the world is not really what you want. No overcharge available as well. Command post trying to get up to tier 2 so you can promote things, but because this creation chamber is here, well, you can Sovereign's Watch the Arc ship, and that's a lot of added damage. So I think Refresh is kind of dead. Didn't get his defense up. And yeah, look, okay, here's the thing. Power banks are getting taken down. And without power banks, you don't have overcharge. You don't have Sovereign's Watch. You don't have any of your abilities. That is pretty nice. And also your units just produce slower. So the fact that Bly was in negative power for a little bit was fairly nice, and actually trying to take advantage of the fact that this is the prime creation chamber. So units are maybe just a little bit separated. There's now going to be another overcharge. As these Exos, they do have quick draw hustle. They are trying to kite away, but well, you got speed buff. These these Exos are pretty fast. These Exos are pretty fast, and Refresh is very dead. Game 3 goes the way of Bly as well. Sorry, 3.5 games in 10. Anyways, we're on to game number 4. Bly with the Argent builds worked out quite a bit. As we're gonna see the Scout just kind of sit here and delay the expansion just a little bit. Actually, there's more for it, taking a lot of damage. But yeah, we're gonna see the Scout is just gonna sit here as long as possible. It's like, yeah, you don't get to take a collection array that quickly. Stylu TV saying, I have a Bernese Sennenhund. A Papillon. I have no idea what a Sennenhund is. But that's cute, I assume. When I grew up, we had these great big Italian Spinoni Doberman mixes. But by the way, for those of you watching on YouTube, we have a very cute corgi who was in the cat bed. So in the break, it's not going to be in the YouTube VOD, but we have a corgi cam, so we showed the corgi. And it's a mountain dog. Okay. But I had we had 2 Italian Spinoni Doberman mixes growing up. Great big, like 130-pound dogs. Great big shaggy barn dogs. Who were very good at being used as pillows, by the way. And they were ferocious turtle hunters. Felt bad for all the box turtles, but you're not allowed to go. Box turtles are protected species, and the dogs didn't care. We go and luckily they were ferocious turtle finders, but the turtles would just climb up, and most of the time we'd be able to keep the turtles and get them away from the dogs and put them back in the woods, and they'd be fine. But anyways, and it was kind of good because the turtles would get at our garden and eat all of our strawberries. So I guess it did work out at the end of the day. For now, though, Natural's done for refresh. He went, he actually surprisingly didn't go the overcharge build, but I guess you're trying to maintain power, maintain energy, so you can eventually, so you can overcharge against the initial hit from Bly is probably the play. Psionic has 2 boxers, so chaos in the house. That's fair. It was the Atlas versus Sabres combo. We had that in game number 1, and it looked, with the drops, it looked reasonable. But unfortunately, again, a couple times now, the evacs were just away from the Atlas, so Atlas died, and we never hit critical mass. But it's another day. It's another game. We got double mech bay on the way. Of course, hedgehogs are going to be the order of business. As Bly does Bly things and continues to press forward. He's got 4 collection arrays, 2 creation chambers. He's going to surge both of the, well, 1 creation chamber right now. He's going to get a second. He's going to surge them up, and we're just going to have a lot of Argents leaning in very, very quickly. So our first hedgehog on the way soon enough. And I think from refresh, I would appreciate, I don't know if he has the money for it, but getting a solar habitat, again, even 2 solar habitats to just get these hedgehogs out that much faster seems like a good play. I don't know. Now though, there is our second creation chamber, and of course, these units are in range, or the Arc ship is in range of the collection array, which means that there is going to be a Sovereign's Watch available if the pressure becomes, if Bly is ever really feeling like he's in danger of losing this position. So double surge creation chambers, so many Argents on the way, and well, we got a sentry post coming up. We have scouts being made. Okay, yeah, again, this dogs and hogs idea that we've seen just a decent amount, and double hogs eventually. So double hogs are going to get made. We got this pressure going down. Sovereign's Watch is going to get dropped again within range of the collection array, so that's going to be fine. But that is power being used, and again, power being used does slow production down just a little bit, which is very nice for refreshes. He's going to go try to defend this game. They should have added core use to the StarCraft 2 patch to stop turtling. No, but you don't understand, Rusty Shacky. When they say we want to stop turtling, they mean we want to turtle more. We're going to buff all the turtle units. Oh, man. The incoming StarCraft balance patch is what they say they want to do, and then what they're actually doing is not the same thing. As that one hedgehog is going to go down. Now, hedgehog is on the backside trying to go and take some of these structures off, and they're not going to be super successful for the time being. But hey, you know, repair turret is a very nice thing, and high ground to low ground is something you can try to play around with. And again, I think a solar habitat would be very good. I don't really have that for the moment. Is now Black continues to lean in. Just a second ago, the supplies were equal. Now they're not. But overcharge, if you can go trap this army, overcharge bobs actually do a really nice thing. They do a lot of damage against this. But you know, we're gonna see the sentry post is falling down. Now that being said, getting on top of these Argents, they are falling a little bit. This is a reasonable hold. Now again, bobs are still falling. So is it reasonable? I don't know. But the hedgehog numbers are starting to increase. We do have a sentry post on the way, not here just yet. And Central Command is done. So we are starting to see some of these hedgehogs starting to get promoted that much more HP, attack speed. I believe it's actually recharge speed in this. No, range, excuse me. Range and HP. Range and damage HP on some of these hedgehogs. But yeah, as TKL says, patch doing basically opposite of the stated intentions is wild. Yeah, it's pretty funny. I mean, last patch in StarCraft, the last StarCraft 2 patch, we're changing Cyclones so mech is viable versus Protoss. That's not what happened. Anyways, lots of Argents are going to show up here, and as the hedgehogs continue to go down, Looks like Refresh has given it the good old college try. You know, we saw some games where he had an opportunity, but now at this point, I think there were just too many Argents. This is the long and short. Well, actually, as I say that, you know, the Bobs are not mining, and that is a problem. But the Argent numbers are... Argents don't have energy anymore, so they're not nearly as powerful as they might otherwise be. Their numbers are decreasing. The supply is not as bad, but link nodes, soon to be strike nodes on the high ground, which means good luck mining from this place. Sort of strike node on the low ground as well. Yeah. This has to get taken down too sweet, and I don't know it will be able to. So again, attack shows up. There is a sentry post that's not going to be barely going to be ready. It's going to be their repair turret, but it gets burst down immediately, and yeah, good luck. So yeah, do we have anything? There's no tech coming out of Refresh. He's just building hedgehogs as much as possible, and Bly is terrifying. The game saying, Mr. Botaria, Nastrimi, I do not speak Polish? Is that Polish? The games? I don't know, but hello. But yeah, we're gonna get a balance patch eventually. So this stuff is gonna get toned down. I think we just need to. The production time needs to get nerfed. I think is the thing. We're gonna get there, but for right now, double surge strike nodes means that this base is dead. It's gonna be a one base setup. Refresh doing what he can, but this is gonna be a 4-0 for Bly. I really struggle to see a world. Argents are just they build too fast. They do, you know, they don't do a ton of damage, but they do enough. They're tanky enough. Then again, technically, hedgehogs are good answers to them. They do 16 damage when they're promoted, but it just doesn't matter. The base is gonna fall down, and with that, Refresh is gonna hold on because this is the last game in this series. But even still, he's gonna fall down in this event. Parting said that Refresh could show me good games, and he did show me a couple good games, but unfortunately, Bly is just a monster. He is way too good, and that just means that Bly is gonna 4-0 this, and that's how this thing is gonna go. Bly, again, looking very, very good. Refresh, he's gonna tap out, and that means Bly wins this second series 4-0. I think game 1 and game 2, Refresh had some options, not quite able to pull it off. Game 3, game 4, though, this Argent pressure just not quite able to hold on. And that means that Bly has a 4-0. Of course, if you want more Stormgate action, please make sure to go and drop a follow on YouTube, drop a subscribe on YouTube, follow me on Twitch. We have channel memberships on YouTube now, so if you want to do that, that does help me out quite a bit. It's a better cut than Twitch does, and you got emotes that you can drop in the live streams, things like that. So I do appreciate that one. Also, sub on Twitch if you want to. And I will see you at the very least every Sunday, probably before then as well. See you next time.